In this episode of Flea Market Rescue, we're going to take some thrift store and flea market items and turn it into some simple, spooky Halloween decor. We'll decorate a hallway with it, and I'll even take you down a famous street in Romeo, Michigan that are known for their spooky Halloween decorating. So if that sounds good to you, then come on, let's make some Halloween home decor and take a tour. One quick note before we get started though, if you're new to my channel, I just want to welcome you. My name is Kelly Sherry. I do a lot of home decor makeovers and furniture flips. I also take you along shopping with us as my mom and I go to garage sales, flea markets, and thrift stores. So I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel and ring the bell. That way you'll get notified every time I post a new video. All right, so when I was at the thrift store, I picked this up for $3.99. Now, it's kind of like a squash color orange, not really caring for that. So we're just gonna paint this white. I'm gonna take that off. Then if you remember, when we went garage sailing, I found this for $1. Here's my mom and I at that garage sale. She found a white pumpkin, and I found this gold pumpkin. So we're gonna take that off, and I think I'm gonna paint this a pretty orange. So let's get these painted. All right, so I'm using Fluff by Dixie Belle. I'm not going to paint the stem, but I am going to paint all the way up to it. Okay, we are gonna let this dry, and then I'll paint the bottom a little bit too. Now, while that's drying here, let's paint this one here with this Americana paint in burnt orange. I'm just gonna use a little foam brush because my other brushes have black and white on them, so let's dump a little paint on there. We'll paint right up to the stem like we did with the white one. And we're gonna let that dry too, and then we'll paint the bottoms. All right, now that it's dry, we're gonna flip this over and we're gonna paint the bottom real quick. And we're going to repeat the same process with the smaller orange pumpkin. And we're going to let the bottoms dry. Now I designed this little design in Photoshop, and then I took it over to Silhouette Studios. After cutting it out on my silhouette, I cut it into a smaller piece. I peeled back the extra vinyl from the design, and I weeded out any extra vinyl that might have been left. All right, I have our design. So first things first, we're gonna peel this off. I'm gonna take this credit card and just kind of go over it to make sure that it's adhered to the transfer tape. And then we'll peel that off. All right, now I have the design on the transfer tape, and we're gonna take our white pumpkin, lay it on its back, and then we're gonna put that right on there. I think that's gonna look good right there. I'm just gonna put it up just to make sure. Yes, I think that looks really good. So we're just gonna rub that on there now. We're going to take our credit card and just go over the vinyl letters to adhere them to our pumpkin. Since we're not working on a flat surface, you might have to just kind of improvise a little when you're rubbing down. All right, let's see what happens here. Just slowly peel that back, because if it doesn't stick, you're able to just kind of go over it just a little bit more. All right, and then we're just gonna go over these just one more time. Make sure that they're down good. Voila. I'm just gonna wrap a little jute around this here. Tie that around our pumpkin stem. You can even hot glue it down if you want, which I probably am gonna do because it's kind of wanting to rise up a little. But I just think this adds a little more to our pumpkin. And like I said, we'll just use a little hot glue. So I'm just gonna add a little glue to this here. That way, our little knot and everything will stay down. Perfect. And there you have it. One Halloween spooky pumpkin. Now with our orange pumpkin, I love it just the way it is. However, I do want to use some of this trim and just tie it around the stem. So we're going to just pick out something cute. I think that one might look good. What other one can we put in there? Just something complimentary. Yeah, maybe we'll do these three here. I'm just gonna line these up so that they're the same size. I'm not even gonna take them off of that. I'm just gonna cut them from there. So we'll just tie this here around our pumpkin. And then we'll just trim this off here. So I really like that. I think that looks cool. And it's gonna look great next to our other pumpkin. It'll just really complement it. Now we need a spooky sign to go along with all these brooms I picked up. I went on Facebook Marketplace and found this cool broom, and she told me she had like 50 more, and she surely did. Her mom had displayed them all along the wall, and it was kind of eerie out that night because it was a full moon. But I did end up buying 3 brooms from her that night, and I think these were the best ones. So now all we need is a sign. Now, if you had watched last week's video when we went to Davisburg, I picked up this one door, and my plan was to make a sign out of it. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So I was recently in Davisburg, and I bought this door. It's painted green, but I'm going to paint it black. As you can see, it's just a door. I did pay, I think, well, she gave me a deal, so it really wasn't that much. But you could probably pick these up free in the garbage if you really wanted to. So anyway, you're going to start with a door, and for this one here, I'm going to paint it with a little black dress by DIY Paint. And then I made this awesome decal, Brimstone Broom Company. fly through the night with the greatest of ease. So we're gonna put that on after we get this done. So let's get to painting here and we'll put our decal on afterwards. Now this here has like where the knob was, and I just kind of want to sand that a little. Okay, so let's get to painting. All right, so that's completely painted. We're gonna let that dry. All right, our door is practically dry. I'm gonna flip it over and do the back. All right, so this is completely done. We're gonna let that dry. All right, so this is dry, and normally you would just put like maybe some hangers on there, which you could do, but these have some screws here, you know, where the hardware was. I'm gonna just take a couple of these screws out. I'm gonna lower it down just a little bit here. Screw that in. I'm not going to go all the way down because we're going to wrap wire around this. I'm going to do the same thing over here, a little bit further down here. Okay, now that we have those in place, we're going to take a long piece of wire. We'll just take a long piece of wire here, and we're going to wrap that around. And then you're going to do this really tight around here and wrap that around. Thing is, you just didn't want it to go like past this point. You don't want to be able to see the wire when you hang this. So again, make sure this is really tight. I'm gonna just tighten this one up a little bit more here. Just wrap it around. And then we're just gonna twist the rest of the wire here. And then you can even cut the rest off if you got a lot of excess wire. And then so when we go ahead and hang this on a nail, you're not going to see this. It will not go over it. All right, so we got that done. And as you can see, it's twisted and it'll hang properly. Now we're going to turn this over so that we can put our decal on there. But before we put our decal, I'm going to kind of take a little sandpaper and distress this a bit. Okay, so now you're able to see that it has some dimension to it. Now I'm just going to use a little of this tobacco road over this because in those spots that you see that I sanded, I want it to have like a brown tone to it. Now I think I sanded a little too much right there, so I'm just gonna add a little black into this because I don't want to see like green. But everything else looks really good. So we're gonna let that Tobacco Road dry on that, and then we're gonna put our decal on. I made that design in Silhouette Studio and cut it out with my Cameo. I peeled back the extra vinyl and weeded out any letters that still had vinyl in them. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put our design on here. So I'm just gonna go over the transfer tape with a credit card just to make sure it's on there. So when we lift it up, it's all gonna come off. All right. Slowly peel it off, because if like one of the letters doesn't come up, like the I just didn't come up just right now, I'm gonna go over it. All right, so now it's all on the transfer tape, and now we're gonna kind of center that in the middle. Once you have that in the middle, I'm just gonna turn this sideways to make sure it looks right. It's about right. Now you're going to take your credit card and you're just going to go over your design so that it will adhere to your piece. In this case, this door. Once you get the transfer tape off, you're going to want to go over it with your credit card. You just really want to take your time when you're doing this, because if some of the letters aren't adhering, you might pull it off and might. I think this looks pretty darn good here. And here's what our sign looks like all finished. I'll have this design in my Etsy shop for you. A while back, my mom, my sister, and I went on a thrifting adventure, and we picked up this. This, I don't know how much it is, but those are always good, the accordion. Well, we are going to use it today. I want to hang some witches' hats off them. Recently, I was at my mom's and I went shopping in her garage. So my mom got this chair here for $1 at a garage sale. Let's see what we can do with it. And she also came across these witches' hats at the thrift store. It's kind of nice to go shopping in your mom's house.
And there's much more.
Yes, there is much more. Anyway, we're going to paint that chair black, and we're going to hang one or two of those witches' hats on that accordion style rack. Right, so I have my mom's chair home. We are going to paint this black. I think I need to sand this though, because it has some sticky stuff still on it. So let's kind of take care of that, and we'll paint this whole thing black. So I'm basically just kind of roughing this up. I'm going to paint that with DIY paint, and again, it's going to be Little Black Dress. Once I was done with this, I let it dry and flipped it over and did the underneath part of the chair. Now this chair is going to require 2 coats. As you can see, you know, not everything is perfect on it, so you're going to want to touch all that up and kind of just go over it once more. Then after that, then you're gonna wanna put a wax on there just to protect the finish. Or you could use a polyurethane. Now I normally use the Annie Sloan wax when I wax things, so, but you can use, again, polyurethane or any kind of wax. Now the chair and the hats weren't the only thing I found at my mom's that day. All right, you guys, just look at this with the twisted branches and the wooden long planter. It's just really cool. These branches, I thought, oh my gosh, I could hang like bats off them. And she got this for $7.99 at the thrift store. So I took that home. All right, you guys, let's paint up some bats. So I have some bats from my cutout collection of wood. And those are available in my Etsy store if you're interested. But anyway, I'm gonna take 2 of the bats from the collection and we're gonna hang them off some twisted branches just to give it a little more spooky effect. So let's paint these black. I'm using Little Black Dress by DIY Paint. Okay, we're gonna let these dry, then we'll flip them over and paint the other side. So these are completely dry. We're just gonna kind of flip them over and paint the backs. Okay, and we will let that dry. All right, you guys. So, let's go ahead and hook up some of these here. I'm gonna use just some wire. You can use fishing line or string, but for me, I just wanna be able to control this a little better, so I'm gonna use some of this wire. And what we're gonna do is hot glue it to the back. So I'm gonna put a little bead of glue here, and I'm just gonna like attach this wire here. I'm just gonna hold it there for a minute. Okay, so that's on there good. I'm gonna clip this wire because it's a little bit long, and we'll do the same thing with the other one. So I'll probably just clip about right here. And as you can see, we can wrap that around our branch and it probably will not be very noticeable. I'm gonna do the same thing with this one here. So our branches are kind of curving around here. So let's kind of wire one of these little guys in here. I think we need another little guy in here, maybe a little higher. We'll just kind of wrap that around. All right. And let's take a look at everything put together. Now you see what you can do with a few thrift store and flea market finds. Now we've been to Romeo for garage sales, and they have such cute and little quaint houses. Well, every year on this one street called Tillson, they decorate for Halloween spookiness like I have never seen. They've even been featured on the news many times.
And some more Halloween fun happening this weekend. If you want to get some extra candy and scares, you can stop by Terror on Tillson
So for
Street.
those of you who are ready, let's go ahead and take a look down Tillson. Now, if you're really not into this kind of stuff, then I would just shut it off. But for those of you who are into really spooky Halloween decorating, then let's take a peek. Romeo has the cutest little houses, and they all go all out for Halloween. Spooky. Wow. How would you guys like to stay there? No thanks, right? Luggage for this hotel. Yikes. Skeleton crew. I hope you enjoyed this spooky tour. Well, that's it for this spooky episode of Flea Market Rescue. If you like this episode and you want to see more episodes, make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell. I'm Kelly Sherry, and this has been Flea Market Rescue.